I'm Nick with Fire Wrangler. Today, we're cooking with Cowboy. We're gonna make some really beautiful smoked pork chops. We're smoking them hot and fast, but the key to cooking them hot and fast is you gotta keep that moisture in them. So we're gonna go ahead and put them in a brine. You can hunt all over town, drive all over the place trying to find a thick cut pork chop. Good luck, they're really hard to find. The best way that I do it is I buy an entire loin and I cut them down myself. That way I can cut them as thick as I want them, which is pretty dang thick. I want them about 2 to 2.5 inches thick. That's also one of the keys to keeping them moist. If they're too thin and you cook them real fast, they're gonna dry out. So cut them down yourself, butcher them out. It allows you to trim them, to shape them, to make them real pretty. You can do bone in or bone out. I prefer bone in. I think it looks really pretty. I also think it adds to kind of keep that moisture in the meat. So we got these nice bone and pork chops. We're gonna go ahead and put them in our brine today. I'm gonna brine them for about 4 hours. Now, the key to this brine is light brown sugar and salt. I use kosher salt, light brown sugar, a 50-50 blend, about 5 or 6 cups of water. I also throw some black pepper in there, kind of aromatic. It gets into that pork. It has a really good flavor. We're gonna toss them into this bag and put them to bed in the refrigerator for about 3-4 hours. You can go up to about 6 or 8 if you really want to. I wouldn't go more than that. It also depends on how thick the pork is. Get all the air out, make sure every piece of pork is submerged. That's going in the refrigerator. We'll see you in a few hours. These pork chops have been brining for about 3 hours. Now, like I said, you can brine them as long as you want. One trick though is if you're gonna brine for more than about 3 or 4 hours, you're gonna wanna rinse them and pat them dry before so they don't end up too salty. When you keep it under that 3-hour mark, the salt level's fine. It's not gonna get overwhelming. We're going in today with a Fire Wrangler Zesty Ranchero on these. You know the drill, hit all sides, season them well. If you don't have the Fire Wrangler Zesty Ranchero, you can use any kind of barbecue seasoning that you like, any flavor you like. The neat thing about pork is that it takes flavors really well. So you can go sweet, you can go spicy, you can go Mexican influence, you can go Asian influence. There's just so many options with pork because so many cultures use pork. The possibilities are endless with it. The flavor profile of this one is gonna be a little bit more Mexican infused with some smoke and some lime, a little bit of parsley, great green color. We're gonna be hot and fast smoking these pork chops. We're still gonna get plenty of smoke on them, but we're gonna be rolling about 325 or so on them. You go any hotter than that, you're not gonna get a lot of smoke. You go a lot lower, you'll get a lot of smoke, but they're gonna take a while. With them being this thick, we kinda wanna split the difference. There's gonna be a texture difference on a smoked pork chop versus a grilled pork chop. A grilled pork chop is gonna eat more like a steak. You're gonna have more slicing that's involved, a little bit more pull. When you smoke them, they end up being a little bit more tender. They kind of fall apart. They take on that flavor really well. For thick cut, I really like having that smoke because it does end up breaking apart and being super juicy, and that brine helps too. We're all good. The aroma off these is killer. That seasoning's doing its job. We are going on the grill behind us. I'm betting they're gonna be in there about an hour, hour and 15, but the temperature we're shooting for these is 140 to 145 degrees. We're gonna rest and let it kind of come on up, but the safe temperature on a pork chop like this is 145 degrees. Going to the grill. Now we let the smoke do its job. And just like that, it's done. These pork chops have rested. I can smell the smoke coming off them. You know those Cowboy charcoal pellets did their job. It's gonna be juicy because that brine I know did its job. Let's cut into this thing, see how it turned out. Cut around that bone. Oh yeah, even that looks good. A lot of people tend to overcook their pork because there's these old rules that said you had to cook it longer. It's now been proven that it's safe to eat at 145, so it's gonna have a little bit of a pink hue, but I'm telling you, not only is it safe to eat, I mean, look how tender that is. You can move that around. Juicy, smoky, a little bit of zest from that rub. Beautiful pink smoke ring. And the key is, man, just that tenderness. That brine breaks it down and making sure you pull it at that 145. If you overcook it, that brine can't save it. You gotta pull it at the right temperature. You cook everything to temperature. Look at that. I mean, can you beat it? I don't think so. Again, I'm Nick with Fire Wrangler, and I am done waiting because this just looks too good. We're gonna give this a shot. That is pork perfection. There's so much smoke that got in there from those charcoal pellets. I mean, if you're not cooking with Cowboy, you're not cooking. That zest, that lime, that rub, the tenderness of the pork, it all comes together. You have to try this thing. It's at cowboycharcoal.com along with tons of other recipes. As always, keep cooking with Cowboy.